Thank you, Amanda. That was awesome. I think the first thing I'd like to do is just have everyone stand up and stretch a little bit. You know, I know I'm last and we've been sitting for a while. Still a little stretching, jump up and down, burner style. This is awesome, thank you. Have a seat. I'm pretty sure everyone feels what I feel. Following Orly and Tom and Corey, did you feel Orly's passion? Tom's idealism, the millennials. Hopefully I still look like I can be a millennial. Although I don't exactly qualify, but hope is not lost. Corey, the experience, the body of work that she shared with us, I feel tremendously humbled just to be on this stage. And I think I can leave now, just say, wow, thank you. Furthermore, I'd like to thank the organizers. No matter what I share with you this evening, I will have gained so much more from this experience than anything I could possibly provide. I see Amanda smiling over there, the true effervescent light, and Jonathan excited next to her. So Amanda, Catalyst Week, the Downtown Project, Tony Shea making this possible, the burner community. I was speaking to Megan earlier. I have not yet attended a Burning Man, but I hope to attend sometime soon. What you guys have done is just tremendous, and I'm floored. This is beautiful. Thank you again for having me. The topic of the last few days of transformation is near and dear to me and what I stand for, what I believe in. I feel like I've been transforming through and through since the time I was born, right? Everything from spending my time between the United States and Haiti throughout my childhood, cultural shifts and transformation, from experiencing some facet of death at least 9 to 10 times, everything from illness to weapons to all types of things, right? And for a while, I thought it was normal, but it's not. But every time you go through one of those experiences, as Orly discussed earlier, there's a transformation, there's a shift that occurs, and I've done that many times, to throwing some of the biggest parties in New York City, where, the city that never sleeps for years, thousands of people at a time, and living that lifestyle. I was a thespian. I was like, hey, yeah, come on in, right? I did that for several years. To working at some of the largest investment firms in the world, right? And putting on the appropriate outfit, speaking the way that I should speak, and that's another transformation. Or founding a few NGOs and doing the things that need to be done in order to get that done. And literally, I could go on for days and days and days, so I'm not sure if I'm a human being or a feline, cat, at least 9 lives, but it's wonderful to understand our power collectively to transform. And I think it starts within. Once you realize your ability to transform yourself and actively participate in that process, you then are somewhat liberated, right? Your chest extends, you stand tall, and you say, I'm going to do this. I'm going to transform externally because I've begun to transform internally. That internal transformation never ends, I think, right? So we're constantly progressing, but there's something to be said about passive versus active. And this community is wonderful because of the activeness of the participants, right? This is the first time I've heard about the 10 principles of the burners. Hats off to you. This is a beautiful thing. And I hope to be able to embody that at some point. I'm definitely not there yet. Now, with respect to what I'm currently doing at Empowered, one of the key things has to do with solar justice for all, eradicating energy poverty. So that's one of the key components of the transformation that we're trying to bring to the world. And I'm so excited to share that with you this evening. So please bear with me. This picture was taken in Haiti between 2010 and 2012, shortly after the earthquake. So the earthquake happened January 10th, 2010. I hosted an event in New York City 14 days later, we had about 1,000 people, the governor, a bunch of different people, and try to do what we could to be supportive. That earthquake, which killed, from what I understand, anywhere from 200 to 300,000 people, for me, was the first time that I felt like I couldn't stand behind being a child, because I wasn't, and I couldn't wait for someone else to participate and do something, because if not me, then who, right? So I had to participate and do something. And from 2010 to 2012, I brought about 7 different delegations of people to Haiti, anywhere from 7 to 25 people at a time, in order to figure out what can we do collectively to affect change. And this picture was taken on one of those trips. Our company, MPOWERD, is kind of an acronym for micro power design. We're focused. We're a benefit corporation looking to do good and do well under one roof. One does not have to conflict with the other. And we want to create the best micro solar powered products to affect change throughout the world, especially where it's needed most. That's our raison d'etre. Our first product has gone out into the world, and she's been extremely well received. And as they say, no words can account for the visual, the experience, the video. And here we go.
Lighting Amanyata is a problem because they use firewood.
Toki kaji na kispato dili toki ama yo na grata fike na do na tangaji yo na shaka ju kinyongula ta kiji kaji kunena ta ko na grata ku iya ta ni kiri kunya ta ta yo bagda angkara nga shaka ju ke so mana grata am ta na ko ta ju mambo ya maso maji ni na ur bagu na ya ta na toki saidia ur
It's a very important light. They will use it to light the house.
Blessing the light.
You don't need paraffin and you don't need firewood because they are cutting a lot of trees to get firewood so that they can use for the light. So the kids can use it to read. They can use it as a light for cooking. Saying if they can get some, then it can really assist them.
So as we assess the need for this type of device in the world, we realize that there are 1.5 billion people globally who are fully off the grid. So we consider those people to be living in energy poverty, and that's what we want to try to eradicate. How are we going to do that? We have to come up with a solution, and our company created the Luci lantern. Ta-da! It was in my pocket all along, and you guys had no clue. All right, so Luci, she's elegant, she's beautiful, she lights up a room, she loves attention, charges in about 8 hours, provides 6 to 12 hours of light, and when it's time to use her, you just expand her, all right? Then you can top her off as such. Then you close her up. There's a little button on the bottom, and voila, you have light, right? And then you press it again, and bam, right? And then again, depending on what you're going for, either an emergency or it's a party strobe. Let's get it going. So this is the Luci lantern. And as far as we can tell, she's really affecting change. And it's funny and it's simple and it's elegant, but the impact is real, all right? So the UN Secretary General, Ban Ki-moon, says energy is the thread that connects all the Millennium Development Goals. There are very few things that have that level of impact. Economic development. In Haiti, we did surveys with an independent consulting firm, GlobeScan, $5 to $20 a month spent every month on kerosene. So if someone's making $2 to $3 a day and they're spending that kind of money on kerosene, that's significant. Health benefits, 7 times more likely to contract major pulmonary issues when using kerosene lamps versus solar Luci. Education, the few kids that have access to school, they get home and there's no light. That's not very efficient. Issues with violence against women and children. So we spoke to the energy minister in Haiti a couple summers ago, and he said after they introduced lighting into a particular tent community, the incident of violent crime, rape, and things of that sort against women and children dropped from 53 to less than 5 within the first week. So there are just simple things that we take for granted. I didn't even cover environmental issues, less CO2, all that type of stuff from something as simple as light. And so we're very excited about the impact that we believe Luci can have in the world. One of the positive externalities that we did not anticipate when we started was that, hey, maybe Luci might be useful in the developed markets as well, right? So not only has it resonated in those places like Sub-Saharan Africa, Southeast Asia, Latin America, Caribbean, where we expected it to, but in places like Japan, Europe, and the US. In the US, we actually introduced Luci at the Consumer Electronics Show last January, and since then, it's gone from 0 retailers to over 200 in the last 15 months. What does that do for us? Many things. It helps to decrease our cost of production. It allows us to get it to the people who need it most more effectively, and it just provides a lot more wind in our sails in order to continue to grow and expand the business so that we can have the impact that we'd like to have. Furthermore, in the developed markets, when someone buys one of our products, and we have several others. So Luci is the firstborn. She has one sibling that was introduced this January. She has a few others in the womb. And let me tell you, they're all at least as disruptive. We're very excited about our children. Now, with the sales domestically, we have a call to action on all the packaging. So someone goes, they get a Luci, they love their Luci, but then they realize the impact that they can have by purchasing a Luci for someone in need in somewhere else around the world. Right? So for example, in the last 6 to 8 weeks, we distributed 500 Luci lanterns to indigenous communities in the Amazon. We distributed 500 to affected families in Tacloban in the Philippines. We did 500 to women-led households in Sub-Saharan Africa. And we also provided 300 Lucis to girls living in refugee camps in Kenya. And these were the 4 partners that helped to facilitate that provision of light and life to people who need it most at the base of the pyramid. That sounds awesome. Doesn't that sound awesome? Yeah, baby. Thank you. But guess what? It's barely scratching the surface with respect to the 1.5 billion people who are fully off the grid, right? They've never seen light. They don't have access, so they're spending money and they're just living in a truly dire state, and that's unacceptable in 2014. As a company, we've done pretty well with media, getting a lot of press in a relatively short amount of time. One of the quotes from the Examiner captures the general essence of the feedback we've received. During its first year alone, Empower's Luci has had a positive, illuminating impact on the lives of close to 1 million people in more than 60 countries worldwide as an affordable, stylish, no-emission alternative to dirty, dangerous, and expensive fuel and battery-based lighting from the Examiner. And we've had similar type of feedback from a number of sources. And so we're excited about that, but we need to convert it from PR to impact. How do we do that? I'm not sure if you guys recognize this map, but this is what the world looks at night, right? So what you'll see is the US, Europe are all lit up, and certain little parts of Northern Asia, but most of the world, especially the global south, is fully off the grid. It's dark. So what we're looking to do through solar justice is eradicate energy poverty. Next month, April 22nd, is Earth Day. So on April 15th, we're going to launch a campaign. It's called the Solar Justice Movement. And it's an opportunity for all of our supporters and all of us to stand up and come together. Do what Orly mentioned. We each take a shovel and take that mountain. It makes it a lot easier, right? So we're going to launch the Solar Justice Movement. And the goal is to raise funds in order to provide Luci lanterns and other solar power products to people who need it most. And we're going to be focused on 5 key parts of the world, and it's a point of departure. We're not going to get 1.5 billion lanterns in the 45-day campaign, but we'll do the best that we can. And the only way that we're going to be somewhat successful is through group effort. We've been working on the particulars of this campaign for some time. We're excited about where it's going to go, and it's only the beginning. And I absolutely welcome each and every one of you to participate in whatever way possible, right? So whether it's funding, whether it's ideas, whether it's relationships, whether it's networks, whether it's ideation, these are the burners. We make things that are cool, right? You like how I said we, as if, I'm already including myself, and I've never attended a Burning Man. But you guys have been that welcoming, and I feel like I'm part of the community, and I really appreciate and I'm grateful for you inviting me here to come speak with you, to share with you what it is that I'm working on with a super team. And again, I thank you. Good night.